So finally, some low content effort on the E36. So today I'm doing the brake fluid, the transmission fluid, and the differential fluid on it because I haven't done this, well, I haven't done these two in many seasons, and this one I just need to do anyways. The wet boiling temp on this stuff is actually pretty good, apparently, as you can see right here. So that's why I went with this, as it was easily sourced off Amazon versus the AT 200, which I couldn't get off Amazon. When I typed this into Summit Racing, it said it fit it's rated for the ZF transmission that I have, so I threw some in there. And then I also did this, of course, which is just something to get off your regular auto parts store. I also did the power steering fluid with this stuff. Anyways, right now I'm doing a bigger overhaul because I need to put an electric fan in. I've just been running with the aux fan, but I want to use the aux fan more as a backup. Anyways, the nice thing about this Nissan's radiator I got from FCP Euro is that the drain petcock has a little sliver in it, so you can drain it without pulling the entire plug, so it's low mess. I'm going to let this drain, and I'm going to show you what I have in terms of electric fan parts. So what I got is the radiator mount kits. I got two of them just in case. And this is my fan controller. It is a Hayden PWM fan controller. Part number is right there. It is a radiator probe style. So it's going into the fins, and I'm going to put it on the radiator exit side because I'm going to have the fan turn on when the radiator exit stops cooling as well as I think it should. So I'm going to probably set it around 180 degrees. Anyways, I picked a PWM fan just so at 180 degrees it's going to kick on at 60%, and then it's going to ramp up from there all the way to like 100% if it gets, I think, like 190. Anyways, seems pretty cool, seems pretty advanced, so that's why I'm going with it. I'll show you how to do the wiring later. I also got this one because you can see right there, that's how it clips on, and this fan has multiple attachment points all around the perimeter. So I'm just going to clip this guy onto the fan. That's going to go on the radiator itself, and then this should always get some cool air on it so it doesn't overheat. Alright, so I got a little bit excited, and I skipped a couple steps, but let's recap what I've done so far. The fan is currently mounted to the radiator, and this is a 2 1/8 inch fan, so I have about an extra inch of depth to go if I feel like I want a better fan, more powerful fan in the future. However, I think this should be fine. Anyways, you can see I lopped off a bunch of the fan shroud, but I still kept enough just so I can have the expansion tank firmly held in place. So you can see I drilled an extra hole here, and then this is just the factory radiator hole, and I did the same to the bottom. This is how much I cut off, so it's not a lot, but just kind of use this as a template. What I found is that if I left this on, the fan was just big enough that this top hose and this bottom hose would start squeezing on the fan, so I figured this would be the easy way to do it. You can also see that I had initially marked this part out to just cut out for the fan controller. However, I just said, forget it, let's just cut the whole thing off, as you can see right here. So the fan controller is mounted onto the fan right now, just temporarily. I'm going to also zip tie these on, but again, easy access from this side as long as I remove the air box and the little alternator duct. The run is going to be a little bit longer than on this side, but there's just so much stuff and there's so much things in the way that it'd be annoying. It's still going to get plenty of airflow. The potometer is that blue part, if the camera can pick it up right there. So if I ever need to access it, it's probably going to be easier from this side. Before I forget, let's take a look at how the wiring is going to be run. So this guy's going to be tucked in down here, and this wire is obviously going to be under here, but it's going to snake up through here, and it's going to come all the way over through here, where it's going to start to meet with the factory harness. It's going to go all the way back up here, and we're going to hit our 12 volt, our ground on the strut tower, and then the ignition switch, which is right here. So as you can see, I've spent a good amount of time sleeving everything up, making everything pretty. And the last thing I really need to do is to set up the temp probe. So this temp probe is going to go on the exit side of the radiator. But before I do that, I'm going to set up a camping stove and boil some water. And when that water hits 180 degrees, I'm going to make sure that the fans kick on. And to adjust the temperature range, you see that blue potentiometer right there? Well, that's what I'm going to be turning. And here's a quick shot of the temp testing rig. So camping stove, we got a meat thermometer and the actual radiator probe in there. Alright, so I got everything buttoned up. I bled it and then test drove it. So here's the final install. As you can see, pretty clean, nothing's going to get in the way. So monitoring temps on Torque app, and the only sensor I have access to is the coolant head temp sensor. And basically when it hits about 200 degrees on the head, the fan turns on, and then when it hits about 195, the fan turns back off. Pretty good. So I'm guessing that kind of equates to radiator outlet side around 180 turns on, and then 170 it turns off. So I'm pretty happy about this. I'll probably go around once more just to button up all the clamps to make sure that they're not loose, and then call it good. So quick little update on the E36, just as good as always.